Katrina's Creations. This is episode 140. Just call me Rudolph the Red-Nosed Crafter. I got some sunburn when I was over at my daughter's house during the fire earlier this week, and Dave burned the top of his head and his forehead. I burned my nose. So anyway, that's what my red nose is all about. If you saw the video from yesterday, you will see what I'm talking about. For if you haven't, just a brief summary, my daughter's and son-in-law's house caught fire over the week, or back on Tuesday. And everybody is okay. If you want to hear the whole story of kind of what happened, you can click the link right over here and that'll take you over to it and you can hear what went on. But the important thing is everybody is safe and they're getting things put back together again. Yeah, so anyway, it's been crazy. I haven't gotten a huge amount done this week because once that happened, everything else kind of fell apart this week. But I do have some works in progress that I've made a little bit of progress on. I did want to let you know that, as you know, last week I had mentioned that I did away with my Ravelry account. There are 2 new sites that are just starting up that are, at this point, mostly forums and chat areas, but they're working on developing them so that they will be, I guess, competitive with Ravelry. One of them is called Open Ravel. The other is called Fiberosity. So I have not gone over and checked out Fiberosity, but I actually joined up over at the Open Ravel, and they are emphasizing being kind to each other and speaking nicely to each other. No name calling. Imagine that. Anyway, let me get started with my works in progress. Normally I start with my knitting projects, but this week we're going to start with the crochet projects just because there's one in particular that I am excited about. So I'll start with that one first. If you remember, a couple weeks ago, I was working on this design wrap and I ripped a lot of it out because I didn't like the way it was working and kept playing with it, and I kind of lost any excitement for it, and I was just really having to push myself to even proceed with it. I got my excitement back this week. Here is what it looks like. Here's the center section. You can see the granny square here. This is the side that is going out, and there will be one on the opposite side doing the same thing. So I've got one color here. Right here, it is actually striping. It doesn't show like it's striping because the colors are so similar. I haven't decided if I like that section or not, or whether I'm going to rip this part out and do something with a little bit more of a design to it. So that part I'm not sure about, but I like the shape it's now turning out. Before this edge that runs across here was actually kind of angling up, and it took me a while to kind of think about it and figure out how I was going to make it go straight. So now you can see it's going straight. It's not angling up like a wing. So I've been very excited about this, and it's progressing along nicely. So here it is from a distance. If you hear rumbling in the background, we have a thunderstorm. It is 7 o'clock at night. I've kept holding off, hoping that the thunderstorm would move on and then I could film, but that hasn't happened yet. So we're plunging on ahead, and hopefully I won't lose the electricity. So anyway, here is that first project. Like I said, this is the side that does not have the edges of the side portion to it, and this is the side that does so far. So there you can see it. So that is my one crochet project. My other crochet project is my scrappy blanket. And last week, you'll remember I showed you that I had rolled up all of my little scrappy pieces, and I had 4 large balls about this size. This is one of those balls. So the small one I was using, I finished up, and I've now started into one of the balls of yarn. And I am using a 3.5 millimeter hook with this. And let me show you where I didn't do as much with this week as I would have liked to. Here's where I was last week. So I have done 5 rows, and it's about 3 feet across. So like I said, I haven't done a huge amount. Every time I see these two colors together here, I think of Superman. It just looks like his costume, Superman suit. So anyway, let me hold the blanket out for you. Like I said, it's about 3 feet across, and it's about a foot long so far. But I'm having a lot of fun with this. This is like mindlessness, which has been kind of what I need this week. Concentrating has not been real good with everything that's been going on. But this one's a fun project, and I enjoy it. So, yeah, I'm using up all my scrappy yarn. So that is my other crochet project. Then I was working on my Swedish lines shawl. I just jumped. Huge thunder crack if you heard that. I have finished all of the gray and white larger striping. From here out, this moves to smaller striping for the remainder of the shawl. This is a pattern that I bought. Actually, it was a kit. I bought the yarn and the pattern from Bluprint, which is Craftsy. So here it is. And mine is done in charcoal and white. And I'll show you what the pattern looks like. This is what the pattern actually looks like. So you can see I'm right here. So this next section that I'm going to be doing is right here. It's just tinier striping, but all of this bigger striping here I've finished. So I am right there. So that is, again, the Swedish line shawl from Bluprint. It's a very easy pattern. It's very intuitive. Once you kind of catch on to it, it's easy to memorize, which is a good thing. I can't think that far ahead. So then my last project that I'm working on is also a knitted project. So I have 2 of each, 2 crochet, 2 knitted projects. And this is the sweater that I am making, and I've made a little bit of progress. I knitted about 1 inch. Here's where I was last week, and right about there. And like I said, this project I worked on a little bit right before the fire happened, and I haven't picked it up a whole lot since. But there's what my beading looks like. And this is going to be a top-down sweater. So this beading, I think I have maybe 2 more rows to go. So it's going to be like in the yoke area of the sweater is where the beading is going to be. And it's a lot of fun. This is the Flax sweater by Tin Can Knits. It is a free pattern. And it doesn't have the beading on it. I modified that, and I modified my sleeves so that it's just stockinette. Because the original sleeves have a garter like band that goes down the center of them, and it just wasn't to my taste. I wanted something simple. So that's my last knitted project this week. Now, before I show the show and tell, I wanted to explain a couple things that are in there this week that are especially interesting. Fran Derrick and Yoka Sherman-Nagel are both participating in the Tour de France. Now, if you're not familiar with what that is, it is hosted by Ravelry. It is a play on the Tour de France, or the Tour de France, where they bicycle and, all that type of thing. Instead of bicycling, you are using your spinning wheel and spinning. So, and the whole idea is to spin you have different categories. You can spin as much as possible. You can get out of your comfort zone and maybe spin something in a different technique or a different fiber than what you're used to, any of those things. So they are both participating, and they both have their supplies ready. So I'm going to show you in the show and tell, it's all of their fleece and their rollags, which are the cigar looking, they kind of look about the size of a cigar, but they're rolled up fleece that's been combed, and then they roll it and you pull the yarn right from there to spin. So that's what those are. If you see rollags, that's what a rollag is. And there's also bats, which are like loosely combed and kind of fluffed up, and they're just kind of folded or rolled very small, very lightly. They're not rolled up tight or anything, and that's what you pull your yarn off of, or you pull your fiber off of. There's also Charlie Bennett Bloodsaw, and I'm guessing it's someone in her family. It might be her daughters, I'm not sure. But they went to one of those painting parties, which I've heard about. They sound like fun. Everybody paints the same picture, and they kind of give you the techniques to do it. So apparently they did one of those, and so they are showing the paintings that they did. I paint stick figures. I'm not real good at painting at all. I can paint walls. I'm good at painting walls and trim, but otherwise I'm not so good. But theirs looks really nice. So with that, I am going to let the footage roll for our show and tell this week. Now, my sister-in-law posted a picture on Facebook, and it cracked me up. There were so many people that saw that and made funny reactions. I'm going to show you the picture, but I want to explain what it is because I had to look at it twice before I realized what was going on. It's not my sister-in-law in the picture because, to my knowledge, I don't think she crochets. But there's someone sitting in a recliner. They have taken their skein of yarn, their skein of yarn, and threaded a dowel through it. So a wooden dowel is sticking out both ends, and they've propped the ends of it into the Crocs. They're wearing like Croc shoes that have holes on the sides. They've propped the dowel into there. So they're basically crocheting off of it. It's like a toilet roll of yarn that's coming off, and they're doing their crocheting, and the yarn is just spinning around as they pull it off. And there was three of us, Kathy Tinkler and Pam Phillips and I, all three of us just cracked up laughing and said we would stand up, forget it was stuck between our legs, fall flat on our faces, and get tangled up in our yarn. But we would be pretty doing it because our projects would be exposed. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to insert that picture because I just thought it was hysterical. Now, in the acquisitions this week, I have a couple of things. I have some more yarn. This I got off of eBay. I made a blue sweater a couple weeks ago. I finished it, and if you remember, I modeled it and said it was fine, but it was just a hair too short. I wanted it a little bit longer. This was the solid blue that was used in that sweater, so I just ordered another skein of it. I think I paid less than $2 for it, something like that. It wasn't much. But anyway, I'm going to make the edging a little bit longer on that sweater so I don't like to bend over and have my shirt pull up a little bit because I feel like I've got to constantly be tugging it down. So I want to give it a little bit more length. So that's what this is for. And this is, it's called Bamboo Cotton Cashmere. It's in Chinese, so I couldn't tell you if it really is or not. I can see percentages, but it's all in Chinese, so I have absolutely no clue. There's something that is 70%, something that's 30%, and something that is 11.65%. Well, that doesn't make any sense. That's 111.5%. Okay, we'll just say we have no clue what this is in here. I'm guessing that there's probably not a whole lot of cashmere in here. I'm thinking it's bamboo and cotton. But anyway, there it is. This is what I've got the rest of it made out of. I do know it's very washable because I have several shirts made out of this with the same yarn. So that was my first acquisition. Then I got into the diamond art, and I ordered one of them from eBay, and I was pleasantly surprised. I spent $5. I really didn't know quite what to expect for $5. But it's actually a decent kit. I mean, it came with the beads. It came with the little stylus that you put the little beads on with, and it seemed to be pretty complete. But here's this picture, and in case it's not showing up really well, it's a vase. There's like a vase right in this area, and then it's got pink roses. You can see a little bit of the vase there. And there's a teacup, if you can see the teacup in the corner. And since I like tea, I thought that would be pretty. So that is one of them. Like I said, I got it for $5, so I figured how far wrong could I go with it. And then my daughter was hunting around. This was before the fire. She was over here, and she found one. It was 4 different diamond arts for and they aren't all called diamond art. Some of them are called diamond dots. Some of them are called painting with diamonds. There's all different types of names for them, but they're basically taking beads, sticking them on a sticky surface. And this one was a set of 4 paintings. They're all about the same size as the one I just showed you. And it was $16.99, and my daughter has Amazon Prime, so there was no shipping cost. And it's the 4 seasons. So I'm not going to open this up because the beads will all fall out. But this one is a Christmas scene. You can see the Christmas tree in here. But it's like a house, and there's a sleigh, and it kind of looks like Currier and Ives type of thing. This one is a starfish, and you can see the beach and the starfish. So that's summer and winter. And then the one over on this side, this one is spring. And I don't know if you can see in the picture right up here really well or not. But it's a little bridge, probably not. It's a bridge and some spring, like cherry blossoms and things like that. And then this picture over on this side is a kind of like a farm with fall colors and a barn, things like that. So it's all 4 seasons, and then it has all the beads in it, which is why I'm not opening it up, because I don't want them to go flying everywhere or get them mixed. Well, right now the beads are actually wrapped within the canvas, so I'm afraid if I open them up, they're all going to get mixed together. But anyway, that was $16.99, and here's the funny thing. We're sitting at my daughter's burned out house on the front porch. We're sitting there, and the delivery person comes up. My son-in-law hands it to me, and he goes, Mom, I believe this is yours. So I guess Amazon even delivers to burned out, abandoned houses. Yeah. So anyway, I've got both of those. I have no clue where they're going in my house. I really don't know where I'm going to put these when I finish. They might end up gifts. I really don't know. I'm just having fun doing them. So, and I'm not into like the fantasy pictures. There's lots that are mermaids and unicorns and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not into that. I like little country scenes and pretty pictures pretty much. So, yeah, I'm going to do them and then figure out once they're done what I'm going to do with them. No clue. So now it's time for... Now in our Come and Get It section today, we have Annie's has some beautiful yarn over in their clearance section. I'm not even going to tell you what all's there. You'd have to go look for yourself, but there is a ton of yarn over in the clearance section. Bluprint is offering 40% off of their kits and their supplies. You do have to use a coupon code July 4th 40. There is an expiration date. I believe it expires on the 8th or the 9th. So if you're interested in that, you need to move on it quick before the coupon code wears out. But anyway, again, it is 40% off of kits and supplies. And a kit means it's the pattern and the yarn. Consumer Crafts is still selling their little rolling cart, which I have one and I love it. I've seriously thought about getting another one. I just don't know what I would use it for. I just think they're cute, and I don't know. I store a lot of my stuff on it. I found I can put my computer on the top shelf and any of the books I'm using on the second shelf, and I can put all my yarn projects on the bottom shelf, and I can roll it around wherever I need it to go. But anyway, they're selling it for $25 right now. Normally, I think it's around $30. And they also are offering free shipping on orders of $25 or more. And that's good until July 7th. So that would be Sunday. So that is Consumer Crafts. Create for Less is also having a 4th of July sale that is good until July 9th. So that is Create for Less. Hobium Yarn has their Stars of the Month, and they are 25% off. They also have a lot of yarn over in their clearance section, and usually when I buy from them, I have cheap on my brain. I tend to go for the stuff that's on sale. So the clearance stuff and the Stars of the Month. And with both Hobium and Ice Yarns, they both come from Turkey. They're both very similar companies, very similar yarns. And the more yarn you buy, the cheaper it is. In other words, if you buy one skein of yarn, it might be one price, but if you buy 5 skeins of that same yarn, it is deeply discounted. So if you're looking for yarn where you're going to need, like maybe 5 skeins, that's the way to go. Ice Yarn also they don't have a Stars of the Month like Hobium does. They have a closeout section and a garage sale section, which are basically their clearance yarns or yarns that are going away, and so it's your last shot to buy them. So that is Ice Yarn. Over at Knit Crate, you can get, as I tell you like each week, you can get 20% off of your very first subscription box. You do have to use the coupon code KCreations20. Knit Picks has a summer yarn sale going on. You can get up to 50% off of I think it's over 1,000 different yarns that they've got up to 50% off. They also are running a special where if you spend over $50, you can get a free skein of luxury yarn. They are having their Yarn of the Month, which is Chroma. That's the name of the brand, and it's 20% off, and they're still offering 40% off of their instruction books and their pattern books. So that is Knit Picks. Lion Brand is offering a site-wide sale. You do need to use the coupon code site-wide40. Now, I don't know how long the sale is running for. I couldn't find it anywhere, but it's running for right now. So get it while it's hot. It's 40% off. They also are having a summer crochet and summer knit kit sale. So that is the kits for both knitting and crochet projects are on sale right now. Now, that is it for our Come and Get It section. Now, this week we're going to have some fun upcoming videos, or at least I hope they're fun. I am expecting Knit Crate. That should be in sometime this week. And Wednesday, I will have the video that was supposed to have been last Wednesday, but because of the fire and all the chaos going on, I did not get it edited. So it's going to be up this Wednesday instead, and it is a short video on fiber content. Like when you read, like what I just tried to read, the contents of what is the fiber content that's in my yarn, sometimes it can sound like you're reading the back of a cereal box with all the chemicals and trying to figure out what in the world is this yarn really made of. So I break it down a little bit and explain the differences between plant-based, man-made yarns and animal-based yarns. And then I break it down a little bit further and tell you what each of, especially in the man-made, I think are the most confusing. But in the man-made yarns, what the difference is, between a viscose yarn and a rayon yarn and an acrylic yarn. What are the differences? So, yeah, that's going to be Wednesday's video. And next Saturday, we should have some fun little segments inserted because my grandchildren are coming in from Ohio. So if you haven't been watching the podcast long, I have 11 grandchildren total. My daughter and son-in-law who had the fire have 7 children. And my son and daughter-in-law who live in Ohio have 4. So altogether, we have 11 grandchildren. And we're all going to be spending, of course, some time together this week, and I'm going to do a little bit of filming with it. If you remember, if you've been around with it for a while, you'll remember last year we went to where there's this giant carnival slide, one of those slides that goes down like this. And the one that we go to is in a park. If you didn't know it was there, you would never know where to look for it. But it's been around for 40 or 50 years, and I think it's 35 or 40 feet high. And if you've been watching any length of time, last year I went down the slide. I'm not doing that this year. Not right after my knee surgery, but last year I went down. If you want to watch the clip of me going down that slide, I will stick the link to it right over here. You just hear me screaming all the way down, and in my mind, I'm thinking, what was I thinking, and how much is it going to hurt when I land? Yeah, and the kids were laughing the entire way down. So Katrina is not going down the slide this year. Update on my knee, by the way, is it is doing a little bit better. I am going back to work on Monday. I'm going to be doing some office work, and then Wednesday I will be back doing my regular job. So they did release me for that as long as it doesn't hurt. Right now it's hurting. But I did have a cortisone shot in it to try to help things along a little bit. So we'll see how it all goes. But like I said, this week is going to be a little fun with all the grandkids in and out of the house. And we're going to have several get-togethers. And so you'll get to see everybody. So thank you again for watching. And if you have not already subscribed, please click that little red button down below. And if you click the little bell-shaped icon next to it, that will let you know anytime I post a video, which is every Saturday and usually on Wednesdays, unless something crazy happens in our family, which happened this past week, and we hope never to happen again. So anyway, thanks again for watching, and thank you again for all of you who kept our family in your prayers during our difficult time this past week, and we really do appreciate it from the bottom of our hearts. So thanks so much, and I will see you later.